Hi, she's Trixie, I'm Sarah, and this is our Yarn World, a place where we come to share the love of yarns and crafts and what they bring to us and what we try to have it bring to others. We hope that you enjoy today's episode. Today's episode is episode 28. It's been really weird weather here in Michigan. We've been dealing with a lot of storms on the
Severe
west side.
Storms.
Yeah, west side of Michigan. And it's just been a very, I don't know, funky week since this since the last episode.
Actually, it was raining that day too.
It did rain that day. It did. It was really, really weird. I don't know. This last week has been really funky mood swing weather on top of like just random events just happening for us. And so we've been doing a lot of crafting just to try to calm down. Yeah. A lot of comfort crafting and just comfort cleaning because my I'll be able to explain later. But
yeah, the weather is improving the greenness outside though. Yes. The gardens are loving it, and the trees and the grass is loving it too. So yeah, everything's turning green again. But so I finished the blanket.
That's
and
awesome.
It's a nice lap blanket, but yeah, just in varying pinks, grays, whites, and blacks. So,
which is her favorite
and
colors.
Yeah, when my daughter-in-law's sister gets this, it'll be nice for her because it's her favorite colors, and she's doing our family photos on September 4th, so I just wanted to give her something. She won't take payment, but I'm sure she'll take this. So, yep, it's all kinds.
Blanket.
Yep, all kinds of scraps with double yarn and an hook, which is 10 millimeter.
How many stitches were?
It was 101. 100.
One for the cross.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. 100 across. And I don't know how many rows because I just make it so that it reaches the top of my head. That way I know it'll cover their feet when they have it down here, and if they want to even cross it over or whatever and just tuck it under their arms.
Excuse me.
And whatever she wants to do. But it's as tall as I am, and I'm 5'4". So however many rows that is in a half double crochet, and it's just all varying colors of pink.
It's very pretty.
I had them, so I'm so excited about that. The second project that I started last night after I started this, or I finished this, is something that I saw. My friend's birthday's coming up at the end of this month, and I'm trying to figure out a place to put this. Okay. And so, and she loves purple. And when I saw this, I
just realized who you're talking about.
Just like, yes, this is the perfect thing. So, I was watching YouTube, and I saw Anya from Ophelia Talks, and she did wind spinners, and it was, I thought, well, I don't know if I want to make one, but I'll watch it just to find out how she's crocheting it, because it's really, really
interesting.
Yeah, interesting. And when I found out how easy it was, I was just like, oh, I could do this, and I wouldn't even... I did write down the pattern as she was doing it, but I probably wouldn't need it.
But it's just nice to not have to think about worrying about it.
And it's not completely done. I did not make the tassel yet, but I got it mostly done. And I just started it last night, and I'm already done this morning. So.
Oh.
And it spins.
It spins to the wind.
Yes. Isn't that cool? So I started out with the white, and so, okay.
Oh, I know how you did this.
So I start out with the white. You do a chain of any number, and then you do a single crochet with the same color, But you start, okay, where you start, you end, and then you start again at the right side. And she said, make a knot on your tail of the chain, so that you know where you started, and keep starting from that end.
Okay, so it's like foundation chain, come back, that's the start point, start the next.
You have to end the foundation chain and come back.
Oh, okay, so you're always going in the same direction.
Yes.
So as soon as you're
always starting from the right.
Foundation, cut it off. Start the next row from where you started on the foundation chain. Go.
Yes.
Stop. Go. Stop.
Yes.
And so that way
So
you have
always
tassels.
starting.
So you have tassels on each side?
No. But she just wanted that knot so you knew which end was which.
Which is the correct end.
And then you do a single crochet, and at
I'm
first.
so sorry, everyone.
And then with another color, you do double crochet. Two double crochet in each stitch across.
So you're causing it to be overabundant as you continue on with each row.
Right.
So that it causes it to...
And then the third color, you do 3
double crochets
crochets in each, and it just keeps going around. And then when you finish it, and she shows you all this, then you just kind of curl it around so it looks like a bunch of coasters on each other.
Uh-huh.
And after you do that,
the twist is... It's like a slinky, you gotta keep it...
Yeah. Like an old telephone cord.
Yeah.
Anyway, then you put it all together, and then that top part you're gonna attach
to some.
Well, you can tie it together. The initial white or whatever color that you started with, but at the bottom you're going to attach a tassel, and all these go into that tassel. But and then it hangs from a tree or a porch or whatever, an inside room or whatever you want to do, and it just spins in the wind, and it's so pretty. You should watch Ophelia Talks and see how Anya does it. And she's an amazing teacher. She gives amazing tutorials, and it's easy to follow and easy to do. And I just thought, this is a quick, easy gift for my friend for her birthday, and she loves purples.
Loves
and
stuff like this.
It's going to be great. And I'm thinking for a little girl who's going to turn 3, that I might make one for her room.
Oh,
when she has her fan on, it'll spin and she can watch it and go to sleep.
That would be a really cute idea.
And then maybe a little man will get one too.
Oh man.
So, because they're really fun, and I can customize it in whatever colors they love.
Noisy. Like,
and they're not noisy.
I don't mind noisy. Like, wind chimes are deliberately meant to clatter and make very, very soothing sounds. But I know people that have a tendency of having an overabundance, so that when they're all going off at the same time, it doesn't sound cohesive.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just nice to have something that you can watch that doesn't always have to be noisy,
right?
But to be enjoyable for the wind.
And I figure if Olivia and Caniel have their fans on in their rooms anyway, that they could watch that and maybe go to sleep.
Yeah.
So and it will be their colors.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm thinking about doing that and then getting back to my sweater.
So I'm not trying to yawn. I'm sorry. I don't know why, but it's going on the midday, and
hey, she's got 2 little ones underfoot. They're on their nap right now, and this is why we get to do the videos.
Excuse me, my yarn fell off the couch. Sorry if you saw my butt. So I've been working on that blanket that it's called the virus blanket, or I think the German shell blanket, depending on where you are.
That Fiber Spider showed you.
Yeah, you can find this everywhere. I mean, I think they go by both of them. In the U.S., it's more commonly known as the virus blanket. Virus as is,
U.S.
U.S., yeah. And so if you just look up virus blanket pattern or virus shawl pattern or anything you can think that would work in this, it has a pattern out there, and generally there's free tutorials on YouTube for all of this. It's a pretty common pattern, but I just was doing it because I enjoy there's something about enjoying a pattern that looks more complex than it is, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It has a soothing ability to be like, it's not just the same thing every row, but because it is the same couple of repeats every couple of rows, it's still fresh enough where you're still not doing the same thing, and it keeps someone like me interested in it, because as you see it expand, it just becomes much more fun and much more satisfying. And I said that I was going to finish after I was done with my ball, but I'm on the last, for the size of yarn I have left, I'd only be on the last collection of shells. So the shell, so to have the full shell fan out, you need, it's 4 rows. And of course you're adding every single row.
Yeah.
And so I don't really know if I'm going to make it with this because I'm only on the 2nd row. I just don't even know if I'm going to make it.
Crochet takes more yarn than knitting does.
But because I'm also not necessarily satisfied with its size, this would make a good kid's blanket, but I want this to be an adult blanket.
Yeah.
And I don't want it to have to be at an angle like a diamond over my lap for it to fit. I want it to actually be the square that it is. So I'm thinking, my husband said he really likes this and he wants to keep it the same color, because I was actually considering weaving in white with this round.
Oh, yeah.
And then go straight to blue, so it looks like froth, and then it's the beach.
Oh, yeah.
And then it's just blue. And then crochet turtles to be on the top. And so it would be like turtles running to the...
Yes.
I thought you would like that.
I do love it.
Inspo photos I will do. My only qualm about doing it like that is, did I actually... I might not have actually saved it to my phone. I will find it on Pinterest because I saved a whole bunch of it on Pinterest. Don't worry. Here we go. I am sorry that I don't have this already ready for you guys, but this shouldn't take me that long anyway.
Well, they all know how I like turtles, so that idea flies with me. But if it doesn't with your husband, then...
Oh, it's not... Here, where did I put it? I was looking at a whole bunch of the inspos the other day. It should be relatively... Did I not? I don't know what other one I would have pinned it to. That's my main creative. Here, I'll just look it up, because it ought to be here. My turtle beach crochet blanket. This is kind of...
Oh, yeah.
So it's supposed to look... it's a blanket, and this one I think is the chevron blanket, where it's gradually looking like the wave has come ashore and is coming back, and the turtles that have just hatched on the beach and are running back to the sea. There's many different ways that this blanket has been done, or you see all the patterns. But the only thing that was kind of bothering me about doing it this way is because the brown is in the middle. It would look like an island.
Right.
And it was kind of bothering me because, like, what angle would I have the turtles running to?
Right.
I was considering having just actually making it right in the center to look like it was like a nest of eggs, and then they would be going in all different directions.
Yeah.
But if I were to make that blanket, I think I'd have to do it in the chevron way just because it would look better.
Yeah.
But if this blanket had a straight foundation and just went forward,
right,
it would make a very cool sand wave look.
Yeah.
The shells just it would look like a ripple effect.
Yeah,
and I
for
feel
sure.
like that would look really cool.
Yeah.
But I think for now I'm just going to stick with the brown. If I do, or the tan, or the lace color that the yarn generally goes by name, I can just do that blanket later. Because I really think I would like to do a beachy blanket. You know.
And just stick with the original idea on this one.
Yeah, I think I will. I want to do that blanket. That one, I hate doing blankets that are just back and forth. But there's something about that one that I've loved since I've seen it, probably about a year ago, that if I did a chevron, I'd want it to be that one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know.
It's fun.
We live off of the Great Lakes, so our lakes, though big and vast and almost ocean or sea-like, because you can't see the other side, they're not salt water. So we don't get that sort of life out here.
Right.
We do get turtles, obviously, and stuff like that, but it's not the same. Right. And so we don't have the same sort of wildlife as being off of an island and off of a tropical area. And so, but it's still very beach bum sort of, I don't know.
Summertime at the lake.
I don't know. You have those crafts that just make you happy because even though I'm not a water person, I still like to go see the water. Mm-hmm. I don't like going in it, but I like to see it.
Oh, I love watching it.
But, yeah, I don't know. I really think I will be making that blanket sometime this year. I know the year's slowly starting to actually fade away from us already. And we're almost coming to our 1 year mark on this channel. Which is really, really fun. It's going to be fun. Yeah. I know I want to make a holiday blanket. Like, I'm hoping that I can do that in this year where I make a Halloween blanket for our background.
Yeah.
And a Christmas blanket for our background. But I still want, being that it's still summer, I want to see if I can make that other blanket. Like, when I'm satisfied with how big this gets, maybe use the rest of that brown for the sand and then go into, I don't know. I'm rambling at this point.
So our scripture for this week is, "My brethren, count it all joy when you fall into various trials, knowing that the testing of your faith produces patience." And that's found in James 1, verses 2 and 3. This speaks to me. I've had this written down for a long time. I have all kinds of verses waiting, and we just pick one out whenever we're going to do a video. But this has been in my bag waiting. But this week
this felt like the right
is a trial that is pushing my patience. And to begin with is my mom is in ICU. And because of COVID and regulations and only 2 people being able to go, my sister and her kids have chosen to take those slots every day. And so I'm not able to go and visit with her, which is okay if I was getting news from my sister or her kids, which I'm not. I found out from my mom's cousin, and she is keeping me informed. Every time she finds out something, I get another phone call. And if it wasn't for her, I would have just went on with this week not even knowing that my mom had emergency surgery and is on a ventilator in ICU. This is coming after a year of, well, it'll be a year, September 15th, or September 10th, that my dad died. My father-in-law died 3 weeks later. My mother-in-law died right before Mother's Day. And now my mom's in ICU. It's a very bad year for us. And, but God tells us right in His Word, my brethren, count it all joy when you fall into these various trials, knowing that the testing of your faith produces patience. We're supposed to count it joy. And I have been able to find some joy in the situation. I have actually been, the turtle that Sarah made me is named Joy. And I've been just kind of petting that crocheted turtle named Joy, just to bring joy back into the situation for me. I know that's not what God's talking about, but for me, it's helping. I don't have any other way right now except prayer. And thankfully, my mom's cousin Phyllis is a praying woman also. And she finds the situation just as hard as I do. She can't go up and see my mom either, and they're very close, like sisters. And it's just hard when you can't go even be in a waiting room on the floor just to find out if the nurses have any news. You can't even go into the hospitals right now to find out what your loved ones are going through. Yeah. And it's a very stressful, hard time in our world's history, where you're not even, I mean, you're not allowed to be there.
Yeah,
and
you're
find
not
out.
able to be present, and so
yeah,
there's a lot of, emotions are high when you're already in the hospital because of the reasons of being in the hospital, whether being good or bad. And then to figure out who's supposed to be up there with them when there's only so many slots. You're not even able to stay there just to be informed or keep up, and just all those different things come into place, and it's a lot. It's a lot to have to how to work around, the complexity of how things have to be right now when things are already hard. I wasn't even sure if you were going to share this today, but it's just been one of those things where it's like, obviously life right now where we're at, we have a lot going on. It just seems like a lot of things are coming to be, letting it be, happening. It's like there's a lot of finalities happening right now.
Yeah.
Like, and closure is harder than ever, or trying to make peace with things are harder than ever when you can't go about it the way that you have your whole entire life.
Right.
You have no way of reaching people or talking to people or keeping up when even the people that are there don't even have the ability to keep up with it the normal way. I mean, I know that when my uncle was going through stuff with a surgery in California, they don't even allow people in the hospitals with them, unlike here. And so my aunt was just stuck having to drop him off and then go right back home. And it's just like...
And it was an hour drive both ways.
And it's just like... it's hard because there's no good way of coping with things or easy solution to coping with things. And I don't think that there's anything wrong with you finding joy in the things you find joy in, even if it's like the pun intended with the turtle. But like, because I remember a time in which my pastor had once told me that he has a whole bunch of little trinkets across his desk, his work desk, and how every single one of them he would never get rid of. And it's not because he's sentimental, but because as the Israelites, when they would defeat something, they would make a like an altar or some sort of memorial to remember what had taken place, so that when, you know, generations later, they'd be able to be like, this is a testament to my God being faithful. And so my pastor made a habit of, when something came through, he would buy a trinket that would, whenever he looked on his desk, he would remember of all the things that these things reminded him of all the things that God has brought him through. And so it would be like no, God's going to bring me through this because he brought me through this and this and this and this and this. And he's like, and yes, there's a lot on my desk sometimes, and sometimes I have to figure out what ones I need out. But it's a testament to me to have all these little reminders. And sometimes there's a place of like finding, you know, I think there's somewhere in Revelations that talk about the testimonies being able to use your testimonies as a weapon against the devil and during hard times. Being like, no, these are faithful reminders that my God stood strong with me. You have no reason to produce lies or try to get me to go against my God. And so, you know, when we find joy in the small things that can stabilize us, we don't go astray. We don't let the storm bat us around. Having those simple anchors of reminder, being like, no, yes, there's a storm. There are facts in every trial that are bad. But if you're able to be like, Lord, I hate that I'm stuck in the boat in the middle of a storm, but I'm also thankful for the anchor that's going to keep me safe while the storm is batting. I'm thankful that my boat is well maintenance because you have helped me help me understand that discipline and self-control and all the fruits of labor are worth it, so that I would be ready for this. And
our tests become testimonies.
And the fruits of our labor, especially the fruits of the Spirit. Patience is the fruit of the Spirit. Or trial, when we go through trials, we gain patience. When we do this, we gain different things. And so it's like when we sow something, we reap something. And every single fruit of the Spirit that is listed has its own way of producing that fruit. There's different areas in our life that will produce that fruit. When it comes to patience, we can't get it without having to go through something that requires our patience for us to build that muscle. And it's not always fun, but God will find ways of being able to be like, you know, I don't mean to downplay what we're going through, but just like that spoonful of sugar can make the medicine easier.
Or crocheting and getting that blanket done.
Like
I just kept at it and kept at it, and you know, this week has been one of those weeks where crochet has been a lifeline for me. That's why I just went right into another one last night. As soon as I was done with this, I went and found the yarn for the wind spinner, because I needed something to keep going. Just to keep going. And it was simple, and it was easy, and it was fun, and the colors are so pretty, and I just thought my friend's gonna love this, and I'm still getting something for myself at the same time.
And as part of the reason that we started the channel is that we always talk about the things that we can gain from doing a craft, but we never talk about the things that we can gain from the craft itself. God's given us so many different things to be able to cope, and sometimes crafting is a means to be able to make a profit. Sometimes it's to fulfill a need, whether it's clothing or something. You know, just it can fulfill a need no matter what the craft is. But there's also the aspect of feeling and having the ability to have almost like an anchor or a stability, where it's like, for this amount of time, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to be able to get something done. And I'm going to be productive even if I'm not moving. I can relax and still get something done. And that repetitive motion can almost put you in a state of like meditation, which we as humans have that a part of our brain that cannot actually become activated to relax unless a certain level of meditation is achieved or like clicks in to play. And a lot of people do it with movies or music or some sort of form of reading or crafting. I mean, I don't know the science behind it, but I know that the brain can only relax if it can have something to almost go on autopilot doing.
Right.
And so something that does not always require constant stimuli, the brain, if the brain doesn't have to constantly work and can just do something on autopilot, it can relax.
Yep.
The moment that the body only has to focus on just keeping us breathing and keeping the blood flowing, we fall asleep. The moment that we, it's just things like that. And sometimes it's just sitting down watching a movie and choosing to relax and sit down. Sometimes it's this. I know people that it's cleaning. It's being able to do something where even though you're mindlessly doing it, it produced something.
Yes.
And watching a movie, that's not a bad thing. There's people that that can be productive in the aspect of you sat down and calmed down.
Yeah.
That can be its own achievement. I know people that have a hard time sitting through a movie because they don't feel that they can. And so it's like the moment that they can actually sit down and actually be like, I feel relaxed now. Yeah, because you just let yourself be.
Yeah.
That's okay. And I feel that crafting, no matter what it is, has a fruit to be able to bless us. And I don't know necessarily what this produces, maybe just besides being able to recognize in yourself that you needed to relax. But that's why we always are just like stitch your way to mental health, like a good, stable, healthy mental version of who you are relies on you being able to sit down and put yourself as being valid and needing some time down. And sometimes we don't give ourselves enough grace to do that.
Right.
And I think that crafting is such a good medium. It's such a good, like, finding a hobby where you're just able to enjoy yourself, do something, produce something, and being able to do something good for yourself.
Yeah.
Is so healthy.
Yeah.
It can get unhealthy, but for the most part, from the people in the community in which we are a part of, it is such a healthy pastime. You can overwhelm yourself, but if you choose to just let it be, it's fine.
Yeah.
And so, when trials come, we have to find our joys. We have to count it for all joys. I will read it, Mom. My brethren, count it all joy when you when you fall into various trials, knowing that the testing of your faith produces patience. James 1:2-3. So we just hope that you have a safe week, that you have a week that is going to finally get that whip done. Maybe even pull out things that you thought were UFOs.
Yeah.
Just even sitting down and starting the project you've been putting off, or just doing something for you. Buy some yarn. Relax.
Organize your yarn. Put it into the different colors or whatever. That's all part of it.
If you have too much, you can purge and donate it.
Yeah.
It's okay. Like, just find something this week that is good and will help you relax. We all know we need it, and there's some ways that we can find our own joy in trials, and God will give us ways of coping that will make it easier the next time around.
Yes. So,
we hope that you have a good week. We will see you next week, and hopefully we'll have more stuff done. Hopefully. And hopefully we'll have better news. Yeah. So, we love you. We'll talk to you later. And as always, we hope that you stitch your way
to mental health.